Hey guys. Welcome to Couple. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. On Wednesday afternoon, according to the NYPD, 911 calls were made to report a man brandishing a silver gun in the Crown Heights neighborhood of Brooklyn. 3 plainclothes and 2 uniformed officers were dispatched to the corner of Utica Avenue and Montgomery Street, where they confronted the man. His name was Saheed Vassell, and he was 34 years old, and shot him dead. Moments later, the officers discovered that Vassell was not carrying a gun but, as the Times put it, a metal pipe with a knob on it. The photos released by the NYPD after the shooting show what looks like a showriad. After they shot him, the police put Vassell in handcuffs. On Thursday morning, Utica and Montgomery was busy, and the air hung with vexed suspicion and grief. More than a dozen police vans were double-parked down Montgomery. News vans raced up Utica. 2 officers were patrolling the roof of the Kennedy Fried Chicken on the northeastern corner of the intersection. Outside of Kev's barber shop, a woman and a man in sunglasses were lighting yellow votive candles. Across the street, which was still cordoned off with police tape, officers milled around the spot where Vassell had been killed. Vassell's blood was still visible on the concrete. I looked into the window of a salon, and a woman draped in a teal and pink pashmina that matched her eyeshadow beckoned me inside. "I'm not giving you my real name," she said. "Call me Maxine." She had been washing a client's hair Wednesday afternoon, when the sound of rushing water was interrupted by a gunshot. "I knew him," she said, "of Vassell. I saw him fall. It was the first shot." Vassell was born in Jamaica, and immigrated to the US when he was a child. Many people on the street had facts about his life. His nickname was SY. He lived with his family just up the block from where he was killed. He had a teenage son named Tishawn. He did odd jobs and errands for neighbors and, sometimes, worked as a welder. He was a neighborhood character, handsome and helpful. At some point he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Residents told me that they believed that the police knew about the diagnosis, and, according to the Times, officers had classified him as an emotionally disturbed person in previous encounters. It was as if everyone on the street had personally witnessed Vassell's death. They were pacing the corner, bewildered. People I spoke to believed that the still from a surveillance camera released by the police which showed Vassell pointing the pipe as if it were a gun was taken out of context from an interaction he might have had with a barber at Kev's, where he used to hang out. "They was just horsing around," a man in a black baseball cap told me. Many wondered why the cops couldn't have subdued Vassell with a non-fatal shot to the ankle or knees. Abdul, the owner of Discount Zone, on Utica, was waiting for the police to take down the tape so he could reopen. He told me that Vassell bought Bounty and Markle paper towels from him, that he was very good, and that he, Abdul, heard the shooting. "A noise," he said. Madina, who had brought 4 Jamaican flags to add to a street memorial for Vassell, said that, a few minutes before she heard the gunshots, she had given Vassell $10 for food. Donna Reed said, "I just passed him a few minutes before it happened. I know him for the past 5 years. The day before yesterday he said to me, 'Oh, your baby getting big.' I was in a deli on Utica when a woman came in, her face damp with tears. She said she was Vassell's ex-girlfriend. She is 32 years old, and asked that I not report her name. I heard the shots," she said. "I live right here. But I would have never thought it was Saheed." The woman said that she and Vassell had gone to Mahalia Jackson Middle School together, and dated for 3.5 years when they were adults. They had remained friends after breaking up. She'd had a baby a few weeks ago, and Vassell helped her carry her groceries to her apartment. "I lived with that man. I know his son, Tishawn, from a baby age till now, you understand? He's not a violent person. If you trying to disarm somebody that you believe have a gun 10 rounds? 10 rounds? 10 rounds? Be honest, 10 rounds." She walked out of the store, crying again. On the street, a white male reporter from New York once stuck his mic in her face. She was guided away by 2 women who told her in Jamaican patois not to trust him. Parts of Crown Heights are gentrifying rapidly. Madina wondered aloud to me if a person unfamiliar with the mores of the community had called the police. Walking along the main drag of Eastern Parkway, the neighborhood appears to be a genial example of multiracial and multi-faith fusion. But many of its interior blocks are highly segregated, and tensions between its West Indian residents, Orthodox Jewish residents, and the police, the same tensions that in 1991 brought on 3 days of riots, after a Hasidic driver ran over and killed a 7-year-old black child, Gavin Cato, persist. On Thursday, several residents mentioned the year 1991 to me, as if it had laid a curse on this grid. A young white woman approached me, also crying. She asked to be called Alexandra. She had been raised Orthodox but left, because she felt the community was oppressive. She now lives on Utica and Eastern Parkway, a few blocks away. Vassell had once helped her, too, with her groceries. I think it's very unequal, the way they treat this side from that side, she said, referring to the N.Y.P.D's 77th precinct, and its different relationships with white and black residents. He was a good guy. He didn't hurt anyone. There was a commotion behind me. The young woman who had been lighting the votive candles was berating a photographer in a khaki jacket who had started taking photographs of her without asking. She stopped, and her emotion turned to despair. She looked me in the eye. Where's the sympathy for black people? She said she had known Vassell since she was a child. The killing of black people by law enforcement continues to be a national crisis, but, as the Washington Post's Wesley Lowery has written, coverage of these killings has dwindled in the Trump era compared to just a few years ago, even as the rate of these shootings remains as depressingly regular. Each killing is a local story that roils with a strange potential. Will it find a place in the city's consciousness, or the nation's? Or will it be passed over? Resolving this question is often left to those people closest to the tragedy. Before they had even had the chance to identify his body, members of the Vassell family spoke to the press about the treatment of the mentally ill by police. Hashtags began to circulate online. Multiple organizations have planned vigils or marches that will meet on the corner of Utica and Montgomery. In the neighborhood, people want Vassell to be as known as Amadou Diallo, Eric Garner, or Akai Gurley. Several people told me they would remain on the corner, in the cold, all day.